Welcome to Alpha Coding Podcast, an all-access pass to medical coding and billing pro tips that help you start your week off smarter. And now, here is your host, Toni Elhoms.
Welcome to the Alpha Coding Podcast series. I am your host, Toni Elhoms. If you like what you're hearing, hit that subscribe button so you never miss another episode. Hey everyone, Happy New Year. It's the first Monday of 2020. It's a new year, new decade, and I'm really glad that you decided to spend your time with me today. This brand new podcast series, it's called Alpha Coding Podcast, and it is going to cover everything related to medical billing, coding, auditing, practice management. There's even going to be some great things in there for physicians as well. So if you work in any of these areas, this podcast is going to be highly beneficial to you and a great use of your time. You'll notice that I use a hashtag a lot, hashtag Alpha Monday. The reason being, I want to remind you to join me every Monday as I'll be dropping new episodes and providing valuable content. So this podcast series and my inspiration for the podcast, why you should listen, what to expect, what you're going to get out of this series is what we're going to cover today. You probably noticed my tagline states, I'm here to help you start your week off smarter. So each episode is going to be about 20 minutes in length. And I did this intentionally because I know you're probably driving to or from work, or maybe you're actually working and you're listening to this with your headphones. So I know you're busy, wanted to keep it brief. And my goal is to provide you with actionable pro tips. And when I say pro, I mean pro-fee coding and billing, tips and tricks of the trade, really tangible nuggets that you can put into action. And these tips are going to make you more efficient and more confident in your role. My vision is to be that sounding board on a difficult day. This industry is tough. The healthcare industry is constantly changing, constantly evolving, and we have to stay on our toes. And so that was really my vision for this podcast. So think of this as your all-access pass to medical coding and billing pro tips that are going to help you start your week off smarter. Also, consider this podcast your ultimate coding cheat sheet or coding desk reference, but in audio form and on demand, so you can refer back to it at any time. Maybe you're doing a compliance audit, and this one thing that you heard on my show was the validation that you needed to go in and meet with the provider or issue that you've identified. And as a result of listening to this podcast, you feel more confident and comfortable with your knowledge because it was validation for you. Or maybe you're a physician and something you heard on this show, you were able to implement and it saved you time or it made your life easier. That was my ultimate inspiration for developing this series. I have been in consulting for the last decade, and the stories I could share with you, some of them are so crazy, you probably wouldn't even believe me. So a little bit about my background. I know people always ask, how did you get to be an entrepreneur and where did you start? I started in AHIM, working in medical records, and I slowly moved into revenue cycle, starting in billing and then working my way into coding. And my own personal opinion is that good coders know both coding and billing because it really benefits you to have that information in your back pocket. It makes you more valuable. It makes you more resourceful. And it gives you a bigger picture on what this whole process entails. And understanding the big picture is really the key to success. So I've been in the industry for my entire career. And for the last decade, as I mentioned, I've worked in consulting. So I've been supporting physicians, payers, operations leadership, clinical staff, coders, billers, auditors, hospitals, health systems, you name it, on coding and compliance initiatives. And I love this industry. I'm extremely passionate about the work that I do. I am the founder and CEO of Alpha Coding Experts, and we are a national consulting firm that specializes in coding and compliance advisory solutions. I'm extremely passionate about delivering valuable solutions to our clients because this industry is tough. It's extremely complex, and it's getting more complex every year. And it seems like it's a full-time job to keep up with the changes. So that's where I come into play. Anytime I meet professionals looking to break into the coding and billing industry, I always give them a sense of optimism because the sky is the limit. Truly, you get to decide how far you want to go. And I want to show them through action what is possible with hard work and dedication. And if you're looking for some magic pill or magic solution to success, there isn't one. You have to put in your time. And so there are no overnight successes. My goal is to give you that insight and really that example through action and through sharing my story with you from starting in medical records to now owning my own business as an entrepreneur and my journey. That's why I created this platform. So my ultimate goal is to use this platform to bring visibility to the endless opportunities in our field. It is such a great field to go into. It is not always the most recognizable industry. I know coming out of high school, I had no idea what medical coding, medical billing was. And so I think we can do a better job in our education system of actually raising awareness to some of the non-traditional career paths that people can take and can have great success with. So I'll definitely be sharing more information and more resources and more content for newbies and folks that are entertaining getting into this field. I want to give you that insight as to what opportunities lie ahead. Again, with hard work, perseverance, and obsession with learning, because that's what it takes. I do not know everything, and the people that are successful in this business can all share one thing in common, and that is none of us have all of the answers, but we have access to all of the answers, or we know someone that has the answer. And that's the beauty of this field, is that you don't have to have all of the answers, but you need to know where to find them. I'm also the president of the Orlando, Florida AAPC chapter. And one of the things that I'll be talking about and sharing with you on this podcast series is the importance of getting involved with your local chapter. It is an amazing source of opportunity for networking, for education, for growth. And if you are not participating, you are definitely missing out. So this show is going to give you some insight as to why it can be very advantageous for your career to get involved with your local AAPC chapter. I'm also a wife and a mother. I have 2 children. My son is 2.5 and my daughter is 1. So I have been through quite a bit of transformation in the last few years, going from an employee to now a working mom and a working entrepreneur. And so I want to give you some insight as to how that adds additional layers of complexity, whether you're a working parent or maybe you work with other people that are working parents. It really adds this whole additional factor and thing that you have to constantly juggle and balance in your life. And so I have such respect for working parents because we somehow manage to show up day in and day out, but it is tough. And anybody that does it well, it really takes so much work and so much intention about balancing everything. So kudos to all the working parents. So we've talked a little bit about my inspiration for the podcast, a little bit about me and why you should listen. Now I want to go into what you're going to get from this series and what to expect as far as topics we'll be covering. But first, today's episode is brought to you by Anchor. Anchor is the easiest way to produce a podcast, and it's completely free. The platform even provides creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast all from your phone or computer. Anchor will even distribute your podcast so that it can be heard on all downloadable platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many others. You can even make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. Anchor is your one-stop shop for podcasting. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. So just to give you a preview about some of the topics we'll be discussing, we're going to talk about my top pro tips for success in 2020. We'll talk about some of the new CPT coding updates. We'll also talk about NCCI edits. This is a tough topic. Even some of the best coding professionals struggle with NCCI edits when it's appropriate to use certain modifiers and even how to navigate the database. So I'm going to dedicate an entire episode to that topic. We'll also be talking about the power of social media and specifically LinkedIn and how to leverage it to make you successful and expand your network. There is an old saying in business, your network is your net worth. And I truly believe that. So I want to give you a lot of great information about how to be a successful networker and more importantly, how to approach it to ensure success. One of the biggest questions I get is how to make the transition from employee to entrepreneur. And I want to share my journey with you because it has not been sunshines and roses. It's been a lot of hard work, a lot of consistency, many long hours and working weekends, weekdays, nights, mornings, you name it. That's what it takes if you're going to be successful. A lot of hard work. So I can't wait to share that with you. And also to get back to coding, behavioral health integration. This is a huge opportunity right now, especially with the mental health crisis that we have. We're going to talk about how to successfully integrate some of the behavioral health services into primary care settings and what those opportunities entail. Another topic we're going to cover is medical scribe compliance. This one comes up a lot. The social determinants of health is another topic we'll be discussing multiple times. And I also have an ebook coming out on this topic, and I can't wait to share it with you. It's going to be awesome. It's an out-of-the-box solution on how to operationalize the social determinants of health in physician practices, in hospitals, and other organization types. Also, check out my article in this month's AAPC Healthcare Business Monthly magazine. Be sure to check it out. It's got some great information about the social determinants of health. We'll also be talking about Incident 2 compliance, split shared services, interdisciplinary care coordination, other industry news. And one of my favorites is personal development. So this is a huge one for me, and it's really been the driving force behind so much of my success. And I want to share some of my favorite personal development tips and concepts with you and share some of the amazing authors that I've come to know based on my exploration of personal development. So this will definitely include some great personal development content for you and so much more. We have some amazing guests lined up to join us for the show. We're going to be talking to physicians, healthcare professionals, industry thought leaders. working professionals. It's going to be incredible, highly valuable content, and some amazing topics that I can't wait to share with you each week. So coding, billing, and auditing professionals are the cornerstone to every healthcare organization's success. And I hope to give you pro tips and tricks and suggestions that help you navigate and grow in your career. I hope that you'll join me every Monday. But until next week, thank you for listening to Alpha Coding Podcast. We'll see you next Monday.
For more information about medical coding and billing pro tips, including how to hire Alpha coding experts, follow us on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, or visit our website at www.alphacodingexperts.com.